All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. We are so excited to bring you another fantastic class with the one and only Janine Casper. Janine is our transaction coordinator, our compliance coordinator, just all around fantastic, knowledgeable person.
Thank you.
So
Thank you for the announcement.
she's gonna be teaching us
White over here.
all about writing contracts for buyers and how we can utilize Command and DocuSign to make that process seamless and streamless. So Janine, go ahead and take it away. All yours.
One other screen I need to open, we're good.
Perfect. So here goes for you.
Thank
And
you.
then don't worry about the Zoom, I'll let people in and out.
Okay, I'm just opening up New Jersey list. Let's see if I can, I don't know what it suggests, I'll log into me. Password. Oh, great. This is always the fun time. What is the password?
It's the first one you type in. Feel free to pass it.
Got it on the first try. I'm saving it on your computer, by the way.
Perfect.
So if you ever need to, and I'm letting Jonathan in.
Beautiful. And
Alright.
yeah, so Jonathan's a newer agent, this is Jose, he's a, sorry, I'm saying Josue. Jose, he's a newer agent of ours as well, so perfect class for you to be joining in. Everyone on Zoom and in person, feel free to ask, questions and just get them all set up for this class. Janine is extremely knowledgeable, so she'll be able to answer any question.
Are you brand new to real estate?
Yes.
Okay, so
I
as you know, all right, so as we know, anybody who's brand new to real estate, you don't learn how to be an agent. When you go to real estate school, you learn laws, regulations, and boring stuff. I mean, it's important, but generally boring. All right, so with Keller Williams, and so you were just licensed last week, so you haven't even sat with Amanda yet.
I said it last week.
You sat with her last
Yeah.
week. Was I in the office when you sat with her?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so, because I don't remember seeing you. All right, so obviously we always start every transaction, whether it's listings, buy side, landlord, tenant, doesn't matter. You start in our beautiful Command. You start, she's a touch screen, I love that. You start by entering your contact into Command. So as soon as you meet with a client, there we go. Or you just got their number, their information from them, come right to Command immediately and just add them as a contact. You can always go back to them later on. So you want to come in here, add their full name, their email address, and their phone number. Outside of that, you can go ahead down to add in more information here and add additional information for them. I would never enter their property address in here because they're moving. Whether they're selling or they're buying, they're moving. Add the property address after the transaction's closed. So then you can use it to do mailers and things like that. The reason why too is when we start the opportunity, the address doesn't even pull in for you. So it's kind of pointless. You're gonna enter it and then wind up having to change it later on. So that's my suggestion. The other things, if you wanna add their birthdays in here, if they're, when you add their other, like let's just say they're married, and you add their other contacts, you can connect them, say that they're a spouse, you can say that it's mother, father, son, daughter, you can add all this stuff. Those are things later on, but generally in the beginning, you just want to do the full name, email, and phone number. You'll need that to the phone number when you get an offer accepted. We are affiliated with Carnegie Home and Auto. They're a broker. So what they do is you'll give your client's information to them, let them know obviously you're giving it over, and then they will sit there and call them up. They don't harass them, and they'll be like, you need homeowners insurance. They do. In order to close, they need homeowners insurance. But they also do bundle packages for them. So they'll get their information on the car, on the home, and they'll find maybe a better deal. They work with they work with Travelers, Chubb, Nationwide, MetLife. They work with a lot of different insurance companies, and they might find them a better deal than what they currently have when they bundle. So that's why it's always in there. It makes it easier for you because you'll send out that golden email. But once you have your client in here, we are going to go to an agent in the office. I'm pretty sure I just threw one for her recently. You'll click on their name. You're going to click on opportunities to the right, and you're going to click on create opportunity. I need to change the market center. You will not have to change the market center. It should automatically show Rutherford. I'm in both offices, so that's why I have two here. So it'll show Rutherford for market center, and then you choose your opportunity type, listing, buyer, landlord, tenant. This is very necessary because it's going to bring in the proper documents you need for this transaction. We're working on buyer transactions. So I'm gonna choose buyer. It shows me my client's name. I'm going to search for a co-buyer. We're gonna choose myself. Opportunity name, on the buy side, I tend to leave it as it is, the person's name dash buyer. You can go and change this later on, but right now you don't know the address that they're purchasing. This market, where it's a little better, usually the first to second offer is being accepted. We're in the past couple of years with COVID, when we had that spike, we were writing 10, 15 offers. So I always waited until something was accepted under contract and things like that to change the opportunity name. But in the beginning, you do that. If you know when your client wants to close, 30 days, 60 days, 45 days, you can go ahead right in here and put out, select the date. We generally close 45 to 60 days. I'm sure Heidi can tell you that too. I said we generally close in 45 to 60 days.
Yeah.
Most closings happen in 45 to 60 days. So if you're doing 60 days, obviously scroll over 2 months, click on the date. Where are we, the 9th? Sorry, I'm getting confused on where I am half the time. Now, if you're going 45 days, this is what I do. I count out 6 weeks because that's 42 and then add 3 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, March 28th. Budget. This is the sales price that they're willing to offer for a home. I'm gonna go with simple numbers. 500,000. I'm gonna come over to NJMLS and I'm gonna pull property. Wonder where. Oh, if I was in Jess, this would be easier. I was trying to find somebody in our office. All right, let's just go type in Rutherford. Okay. How many? Up here's a count on NJMLS once you put the town in. You haven't had any NJMLS training yet. You'll learn this when you do your training with NJMLS. A lot of these little things. I went to search, property search, and this is where you search then area, town name. You can put in multiple names, whether it's residential, which is single family, you can choose 2 to 4, condo co-op, rentals. So you'll be able to choose the category of what you're searching for your client. But this count tells me currently, right now in Rutherford, there are 9 homes for sale, which is very, very little.
Yeah.
At one point before COVID, most towns, depending upon the size, had on the minimum of 25 homes for sale, unless you're looking at Teterboro, because there's 4 homes in Teterboro. I think there's 200 homes in Teterboro. I'm not even joking. That's it. There's like 200 houses. Like Bogota, town I grew up in, would on average have 25 homes. The town's a square mile, but there would still be on average 25 homes every month for sale. So we're just looking low numbers here. I just want to see if I can find. Oh, perfect. Look at that. I clicked on one, it's an agent in our office. So I will go ahead and use, what is this, 114 Summit Cross. And just to let you know with NJMLS, this category here is days on market. It's been on market for 140 days, 274. So the days on market for Rutherford is pretty high, most likely because the homes are overpriced. And that's why they're selling. Sitting, the sellers still think we're in this huge get 50, 60,000 over asking, and that's just not happening anymore. Hasn't been since July of last year. So I'm going to choose, I clicked on the property I want to use. I'm going to click on full report just so I have it open. As you scroll down on NJMLS, it tells you the people who own it, the office, the agent, and the commission amounts. We need this number in command. So the commission amount that you will be receiving here is 2% minus $250. So on a $500,000 home, that's $10,000 minus the $250. That would be the commission check coming into the office. So I'm going to put the commission rate that you're receiving there. I'm changing the phase to active because you're actively searching for a home with these people. You need to make sure it's in the active state in the end. You can leave the stage, whether it's searching, showing, negotiations, you can change that later on. And you're going to hit create. Now, which one did I create? February 9th. I taught this in Fort Lee. This is why there's one from Tuesday in here. So now you can see that I created my opportunity and it's Mora. I'm going to click on it. It's going to open a whole new tab for me. This tab is pretty important. As you can see, it tells me my market center, my buyer, I'm the owner, the co-buyer, my estimated close dates in here, my sales price that's active. To the right, it shows property. You're going to click on the pencil. and you're going to type in the address line here of the property. It's done with Google, so as you type it, it's gonna start to filter it just like you would if you were going on your phone to search for the property to go figure out where you're driving to. Summit Cross. Summit Cross? Oh, maybe I should spell cross right. Click on Rutherford. Now it just filtered it in for me, but the city, the state, the zip, save. Perfect. That piece is done. Up top here, this is the details page, which is again where you can click edit and change your opportunity name. You can change the phase if you are under contract, closed, all of that, later a date. But now I'm going to click on documents. This is the biggest thing. Over here, it shows checklist type, residential or commercial. Residential will go for all residential types, whether it's 2 to 4 family, whether it's rentals, single family. Commercial are 5 units and over, businesses, commercial rentals, all of that. So generally you're going to be working, most people start out in residential, they don't start out in commercial. So you can choose this. And what it does is it will show you, there's 3 phases, a consultation, under contract, and close. And under consultation phase, it shows you the documents that you should be having with the, speaking when you first speak with your buyer, talking about these specific documents, the consumer information statement, the wire fraud, and the dual agency. Also, if you choose to do an exclusive buyer agency agreement, which means we're not going to cheat on each other. And if one of us decides to break up the relationship, it's fine, we just need to notify in writing. But that goes for a time period. That's what the exclusive means. Because what happens is sometimes buyers will go out and look at an open house without you, and they didn't tell the other agent, and now that other agent thinks they procured that deal, if they want to put an offer in, and you lose your commission. But if you have this signed saying, hey, I've got a contract with them saying I'm their agent, then you are then still obligated to that commission. But again, you can break up at any point in time. You can break up with them if you don't like them. But the consumer information statement is a document that explains the different ways we operate as an agent: seller's agent, buyer's agent, dual agency, a transaction broker. Wire fraud is just a document that says, hey, this is how you not be a victim of wire fraud. And dual agency is dual agency. It says that I'm getting permission from you to show, sell, rent you a home that either I have listed or another agent in my office has listed. Now, with Keller Williams, we are franchised. So this is specific to this office. It doesn't go for Fort Lee or Tenafly or Clifton or any other Keller Williams office. Now, you always want to get this signed in the beginning because you don't know which homes you're going to be showing to your client. You don't know if they're going to pick out a home that's within our office or within another, or one of yours. You have no idea. You can see a home today, great. Tomorrow that was Weicker, and then tomorrow you're walking into one of ours. So this is a form you always get permission, so you're not in compliance with the state. The under contract shows that you want the fully executed contract in here. Affiliated business disclosure. This is a legal form. In the country, in general, if you are affiliated with anybody and you're getting money back on the end, you have to legally let them know that you're getting a kickback of some sort. So that's what this is. And since we are affiliated with a title agency and a home and auto, it does not matter whether they use them or not. You need to, by law, let them know. So that's what this is, and this just informs them what type of money you can make as long as you're bought into the company for shares and stuff like that. When you're a seller, when your buyers close, most of the mortgage companies are affiliated with an insurance company and a title company. So when they're closing, they're signing another one of these for that particular. Wells Fargo has them in their package. Almost everyone has them in their package because they are affiliated. And then the other most important document in here is the lead paint. Oh, go right ahead. If you need to see better, yes. Go right ahead. Is lead paint or no lead paint? We have a no lead paint document specific to our office, just letting the office know that the home was built after 78 and that no lead paint was required. It's just a notice. So this way, if the state comes in and asks for paperwork on that deal, we can say, hey, there was no lead paint required because it was after that. This lead paint pamphlet does need to be presented to your buyers. It just informs them of the dangers of lead paint and how it can affect you. Then there's other documents that you can add as the transaction goes. So, and then closed asks for the closing statement that your buyers sign and the commission check. Now, here's the thing. you might get your commission check wired in. You're obviously not gonna upload anything into here. If Jess, when she gets the commission checks, she might receive an email, she'll input it. Your checks could also be mailed here directly. So if it's mailed directly, it goes right to Jess's hands and she'll upload those documents in for you. But outside of that, you would see next to certain documents, DS. This means that the documents are automatically brought into DocuSign when you start your transaction. Move our faces out of the way on the screen. So I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna click on DocuSign. We used to have dot loop, that's why mine shows both. And what it's going to do is create a room for me for this particular transaction. And it's gonna bring in all the documents under the consultation section or the under contract section of the documents that are required. All of them have been brought in for me to make my life that much easier. On the details page, this is where we need to put information that filters onto those documents. Because, well, it didn't sync. That's weird. Details. I'm gonna head over here and sync transaction really fast. Yep, okay. Documents, details, okay. On the details page in the property section, it brought in the property address that we're writing the offer for. It also brought in, as I scroll down, the contract amount we were offering and our expected close date. It brought in the buyer's name, phone number, and email for buyer 1 and buyer 2. And my information is also now in here also because it's in my saved section up within DocuSign. The next step for me to do here is continue to add information into this detail section so it filters on to the contract. So I'm going to hit edit. And it now allows me to write in here. And I'm going to go back to the MLS. Showing you NJ, that's predominantly what we use. You can use Garden, you can use Hudson, it doesn't matter. If I click on this R, it brings up this thing called Realist. I use this for listings, I use this for buy side. If the property you're on is on Garden or Hudson and is not an NJ, you can still come into NJ and open up Realist for yourself and search for it. This automatically brings me to the property information. Up top, it gives you the property address. You can scroll down and see that this home was built in '89. So now you know that you don't need a lead paint form for this. It gives you the seller's names and their address. Let's just say this was a 2 to 4 family home and it was an investment property. The property address and generally the owner's address are going to be different. You're going to need both of the pieces of information. You can check just to make sure this is not in a flood zone by clicking on the flood map. It's very clear that this is out of a flood zone. Property details. The lot and block are on here, which are also on your MLS. If your client asks for taxes, which should be on the MLS, it's also in here. Yes, you see 2022. This is what it's based off of because of when they do the taxes for the towns and stuff. I think in October, everything gets put out for most of next year. So that's why it shows 2022. So this is the most up-to-date number. There's just lots of just general information here for you. I opened this for a reason. So now that I can see that the property address and the home address are the same, I'm going to close out this because I don't need it. I'm going to come over here to the property address. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it into the seller 1 spot. I do not put this in seller 2 because it will not filter onto the contract. It's pointless and a waste of your time to do extra work. Zip code because it's Rutherford. Okay, so I have the property address in. I'm going to go back to Realist. I'm going to highlight seller 1's first name. Put it in the seller 1 box. I'm going to go get seller 2's name. The reason why I'm doing this is because they have the same last name, so I only want to copy it once and then I can just paste and paste. Copy paste will become your best friend. It allows you not to transpose things. I have a habit of transposing numbers, like letters or something like that. So this does this. So now in my details page, I have seller 1's name, the address, and seller 2 name. I'm going to come over to offer date really fast and put today's date in here. This filters onto certain documents. Now I'm going to scroll down to listing agent. I'm going to go back to NJ, scroll down. There are 2 numbers here. 2958 is the office NJ ID number, and the 1001626 is Paul's NJ ID number. You can click on these. and they open up into a new tab. Now I have to do something really fast. I'm just gonna show everybody this. So it opens up to a new tab. Did that pop? There we go. This tab will show me Paul's name, the listing agent's name, their phone number, their email, their real estate ID number. This needs to be on the contract, not the agent code, the real estate ID number that signifies the year that they got their license. So Paul's been licensed since 2007, those first two numbers. It also gives all the office information and the office ID number, which again is right over here. We were licensed just 5 years. January of 2018 is when this office was licensed, got their license and opened up. You're gonna need all this information that you're gonna start putting it on the details page. So I'm gonna go back to the other screen, and all I do is copy paste. So you're not gonna see me copy paste because I can't open 3 screens at once. Not open for me. So I'm gonna copy Paul's name. That's weird. And I'm gonna paste it. I'm gonna go to cell phone. I'm gonna copy it. Paste it. Oh, this will filter in. Email. This is not my computer, it won't filter it. My computer has autofill once you start typing things enough. I'm gonna choose the office name. Oh wait, that actually had autofill in there. Perfect. I don't know why that pops up, but very well, maybe Amanda's phone number. New Jersey, 07 country, United States, great. Then I'm just gonna continue to slide down and I need to enter my client's address. Again, I'm only gonna enter this into buyer 1 spot because it's not gonna filter if I enter it to buyer 2 spot. I'm just gonna review and make sure that everything else is in here. I need to put my phone number in here. Oh, I know why. Oops, I have one too many numbers. Okay, and then I just hit save. Now that my details page is filled out, I'm gonna go back to my documents. Actually. Also within JMLS, there's this D here for documents. Okay. I don't know why I paused the wire for it, but that's okay. So you can see what's in here. This is normally where you would find the lead paint if it was a property that needed it. He's got floor plans in here for you to view, wire fraud, seller's disclosure. Here's my thing, seller's disclosure. It's on the MLS and it is filled out. Why is it not showing? Oh, because it opened up into a new screen. This I'll show you when I open it there. I'm gonna download the document quickly. 100 plus SD. I'm gonna throw it to the downloads here, so I know where I'm sticking this. All right, you couldn't see anything I showed you. I'm gonna add it in really quick. I'm on documents. I can click add after I download things. Go to your computer and pull where you downloaded it, and it brings it in for you. Open it. There we go. So again, back to the seller's disclosure. If your client, if you're on the MLS and you're showing your client wants to see this property, even before they go see it, and you see that there's a seller's disclosure on there, we're waiting for this to, let's take a second to load. Download the seller's disclosure and send it to them ahead of time if you see it's filled out, because it gives them information about the home. What, how old the roof is, how old the hot water heater is, things like that. It's taking forever to load. I don't know why. We'll just leave it as is. So, but it's always good to present this to your client before you go see the house, because they might see something in the seller's disclosure that they don't like and may decide they don't want to see the home. I don't know, Fred, have you ever done this?
Yes, but I have a couple of questions too.
Okay, we'll get there. So I've added this in. Now, because this property has does not need lead paint, I'm gonna go back to add, and I'm gonna go to DocuSign forms. The no lead paint document, I'm gonna scroll down, is in this KW 1095 folder because it's specific to our office. I'm gonna click on it and add it. Now let's just say that, here's the NJAR folder. The NJAR folder is where all the addendums are. So if there's a pool on the property, you want to pull the pool addendum because this says I'm inspecting it. If you're up in Sussex County for whatever reason, or some places up in Northern Bergen County, Franklin Lakes, Mawa area, some of those homes are septic tanks and have wells. So there's a well addendum, there's a septic addendum. It's under sewage, the septic addendum, by the way, if you're looking for it. And you can search by name, so, or this is an FHA document that you need, because it's an FHA loan, you can pull them all in here. And you can click on multiple at one time, so I'm just gonna click on the FHA. And then I'm gonna go to sewage. We're just gonna pretend that this is, sewage is septic, by the way. I'm gonna click on this one, I can clear off. We're gonna say this has a well on it. I'm gonna click it. You can click multiple things, you can go to different folders. Like I went from the KW 1095 to here, and then I hit add. Yes, ready.
So with the lead paint, usually you get the form from the seller.
From the seller side, it's on the MLS. This particular property was built, hold on, I'll show you, because you walked in a little later. This particular property was born in '89, so there's no lead paint on it.
Exactly. So you don't have to add it.
You have to add a no lead paint document in,
Oh, from the, okay. So
from
that's
DocuSign.
why I'm-
That, you came in on that, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, so we
okay.
need to add a no lead paint. Never, if you see this was built in 65, 56, before 70, and there's no lead paint document, there is a no. It's not on there, let's just put it that way, because that sounds really weird. If the document is not on the MLS, do not pull it from the state folder and have your buyers sign it. Make sure you get it signed from the sellers first, because that document states whether or not there's lead on the property and if they have reports. Otherwise, if you have your client sign that, they're signing something that they don't even have proper information on. So you always wait to get it from the sellers before you, so you can always reach out to the agent and be like, hey, I didn't see this document on the MLS. Or there's been plenty of times where you open up that box and it's white because some NJ had a glitch. It's numerous times it's happened where there's a glitch. And I can't retrieve this. Can you email it to me? Because I'm putting an offer in and I want to make sure my client signed this when they're signing the offer. They're gonna be like, okay.
So your client has to sign as soon as you get the document.
I do it when they're signing their offer.
Exactly.
Reason
Then-
why I do this, they sign everything when they sign their offer. Because if you have to go back and ask your buyer to sign for something, it is like pulling teeth. It is very difficult and it becomes more of a pain than anything else. And you don't want to waste your time. So you just get everything signed at once. So in here are my documents. I have templates created, and this is a class I'm teaching next month. So just know I'm teaching how to create your templates in DocuSign. And I'm gonna come over here. To a little office, and I'll show you why templates are beautiful. So consumer information statements. I'm gonna open this up slowly. Today. Like I said, this document just explains the different ways you operate as an agent. We use the one that comes from NJMLS because it's a one pager. The state one's 2 pages, and it's like these big letters to make it 2 pages. There's no need for it. So here it tells you blah, 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 blah. The bottom section is what's really important here. Because I have a template set up, no matter what, this declaration on the business relationship shows the agent's name and the office. This box up here is if you're working with a seller and then they would sign. This box over here is if you're working with a buyer. This automatically fills in because the way DocuSign is, because I put in the seller listing agent spot, the office name, it populated. But the more important thing is this bottom section here. How are you operating as an agent? This first one is seller's agent and dual disclosed, meaning yes, I'm working as a seller agent, but if the opportunity arises that it has to be dual because my client's with another agent in my office, then that's the case, or buyer dual disclosed. So I chose my buyer template. So this was a box was already checked off. My name's in the spots. I didn't have to fill anything out because I created a template. Makes my life easier and your life easier too. So that form is set and ready to go for signature. If there was lead paint in the home, this is that pamphlet that you would send to your client when you send everything out. It is 20 pages long, lots of information. I don't even know why I'm attempting to open it. The no lead paint form. Okay, obviously it's our office name. The address was in that property section, so it filtered here, so the address knows it just needs to be signed. This is our affiliated business disclosure. Again, because you filled in the details page, your client's names are in here. The property address is in here. And then it just, again, needs to be signed, the rest is still information. FHA. We'll just say the client's putting 3.5% down, so we're going with an FHA loan. So this document is generally filled in for you too, because you filled in the details page or stuff from command that filtered in. So because on the details page, I chose the offer date is today, it automatically put today's date in. It put my buyer's names, the property address, and in this box, it put the sale price. This document, here's what I'm gonna say about this particular document. If you have an FHA loan or a VA loan for your clients, I always get this signed at the time of offer and submit this to the listing agent with the contract and execute lead paint if it's need be, or seller's disclosure. Because at some point, the lender needs this document signed. They're either going to send one directly to the client, or if you did your job in the beginning and gave it to the listing agent and the listing agent does their job properly, when they have the contract signed, they get this signed also. So when they say executed they give you everything back. So when you start the attorney review process, you can send immediately to the lender the seller's disclosure, the FHA document, the contract, the lead paint, because the lender needs all this information. So if you give it to them all up front, it's one less thing on the back end that they're gonna come hounding for later on.
So, I mean,
Go ahead, ask questions.
the FHA clause, right?
Yeah.
So you have to get it, the client have to sign it when it's an FHA and VA loan.
Correct.
Every time they wanna submit an offer.
Correct, because
Or
it's
you get-
specific, no, because the property address gets imprinted on it.
Exactly.
So every time you do, so if this is not accepted, the next offer you do, you'd have to send this form again. Same thing with the affiliated business disclosure, because it's specific to the property address. This is the sewage. I'm really hungry today, sorry. Okay, so on the back end, as you can see here, it says buyer waives the right to investigate or they're exercising their right. There's nothing here for you to check. Because when you send it for signature, there's gonna be a little toggle that comes up specifically for the buyer, and they'll be able to click on it. Clearly, you want the buyer to be able to exercise the right to inspect the property for the septic tank, because if people don't take care of their septic tanks, it can be a $20,000, $30,000 fix. It can be expensive. When it will happen, if you leave this box blank, it automatically happens 10 days after. Attorney review, if left blank, 10 days. So there's not much you can leave those blank. A lot of these say if left blank, if left blank. Sometimes, as long as this is signed by everybody, you're good. What happens is once you start attorney review, the lawyer takes the contract, rips it up and rewrites it, which is called the attorney writer. What happens is our contract is blanketed for the entire state. So there are things in the contract that will not apply to this specific house. There could be stuff in there about farmland. You don't find farmland anymore in Bergen County. Or very rarely you find farmland because it might be Demarest Farms, which is not getting sold anytime soon, I'm pretty sure. Again, the well, it's just saying that they have the right to inspect it and the lender will make them inspect a well property. They have to make sure the water is up to standard. So that's all this is this one automatically says, yes, we're inspecting this particular document. Now, the biggest thing is the contract. Again, I have templates set up. So because I have a template set up, some of this stuff is filled in, but I'm gonna go through it. Templates, create it once, it gets saved, then you'll never have to do it again. Make your life easier. So this top part is how you're acting as an agent. Now, if you are purchasing a home or your buyer is purchasing a home that's through Whitegert, that's through Remax, anybody but someone in this office, you will be choosing buyer, not the seller. That's who you're representing. If your buyer is purchasing a home that either you have listed or someone in the office, you're representing both the seller and the buyer, because now you're working as a dual agency. That's what that means. The other two generally are not. Those are like transaction broker style stuff. Then the bottom of the page here, you put your name because it says, I prepared this contract. Page 2. This is a piece that I do not have set up with the templates, because you can't set it up in the template to be filtered for you, because this is all the information about this particular property. As you can see, it requests the buyer's names, their address, the seller's names, their address, the property address. So because all this information was on the details page, it automatically filtered onto, is it locked? That was weird. It automatically filtered onto the form. What you need to enter at this point is the lot and block. This was not on the form. There's nowhere to put it in the details page, so you would have to come back here. I go right to NJMLS, and as you can see, I don't know why that's being funky. There, here is the block, and next to it is the lot. If you don't trust this, you can come up to Realist, which is also tax records, and you can pull it from here, 135/18. Let's just, oh my God, I can't believe that's gonna make me a little dizzy. So I just come over here and I copy it and I paste it right on it. The next thing you need to fill out, you need the block and lot in there. The reason why you need the block and lot in there is because in New Jersey, that is actually what signifies the property address, not 100 Summit Cross. Because let's just say you have 100 Summit Cross, there's a big gap in there where a house can go and they rebuild, they can actually rename number of the houses. It's happened, restructuring, things like that, change. There's plenty of places, if you go into Morris County, there's 2 addresses for it, which is very confusing, which is why the lot and block is extremely important. Here is where you're going to write all your fabulous numbers. All right, initial deposit. This is if you're giving a good faith deposit. $1,000, $500, nobody really uses this anymore. So line 45 pertains to number 3 right here, where that deposit's being given. So if you're not putting anything here, you're not filling out number 3, manner of payment, doesn't go. Additional deposit. This is where you start putting your normal deposit numbers down. So we're gonna do an FHA loan for fun, and the minimum they're putting down is 3.5%. It's $500,000 home, so that's $17,500. Pretty sure. Yeah. Okay. So now your client is putting down a total of $17,500, 3.5% of the $500,000. This is where your math comes into play. Now the additional deposit, they can put the whole $17,500 up front. They can split it. They can split it in half, 7,500, 10,000. So a good number generally would be $10,000. But again, confer with your client what they want to put down. Depends upon the urgency of what they're purchasing. Like, you know, if they really, really want this home, they might say after attorney review, I want to put the whole $17,500 down because I really want to secure this home. It just sometimes shows the buyers that they're a little more serious than other people. Fingers came out that. So you still have the balance of that $17,500, which is $7,500. So that would go in the $7,500, the balance part here. Mortgage. The mortgage then is the $500 minus the $17,500. And I really don't feel like doing math in my head right now. I'm sure Heidi could do these numbers in 3 seconds. $482,500 is the mortgage amount.
Was it made of?
No, that's fine. But no, I know you, like, because you're doing this, so Heidi's our mortgage, in-house mortgage person with Mike. I don't know where Mike went. They have a class right after, Mike Santana, there's 2 mics, thank you. I know, I confuse myself. They're doing another class right after this. So, yes, Freddie.
So in what scenario you put the initial deposit?
Nothing. You're not putting anything down. If you're not getting a good, if there was an initial deposit, out of the $17,500, you might have been putting 1,000 down. So that would have been 1,000 in that spot. 10,000, then it would have been 6,500 for the balance.
No, let's say it's a conventional. My client have 40,000 down payment.
Okay.
And
You don't have to put anything in the initial.
the initial.
Only additional and balance.
And
So let's say out of the 40,000, they wanted to put 20,000 down after attorney review, it would be 20,000 as the additional, and then at closing is where they're bringing the remaining 20,000.
I thought it was the initial.
No, everyone gets confused. That's good faith. Something that was done so years and years ago, normal contracts weren't like this for New Jersey. So people would say, all right, I want to put an offer in, and here's my good faith saying I want to buy this home, and I'm going to give you $500 or $1,000. I know it sounds tiny, but back then, homes were also about $60,000, $70,000, so that was a lot of money. So these are these numbers. So like I said, line 45 pertains to section 3A. And when it would be, 3A. Line, trying to read here, 46 pertains to 3B, additional deposit. This is when you're gonna give that $10,000. Now, if you leave this box blank, it says it's going to be given within 10 days after the fully signed contract has been reviewed by both buyer and seller, basically 10 days after attorney review. I write 10 days after attorney review. Again, because I have a template created, this automatically filtered in for me. I didn't have to write it. C, who is this money going to? Who's the 10 grand going to? Again, I have seller's attorney. Generally, that's where the additional deposit goes. Your initial tends to go to the buyer's attorney. I have templates set up. So this is already written for me. I don't gotta write it for every time. It's the beautiful part. Now, down 75 and 76 pertain to the mortgage. Principal amount means what is the mortgage amount? The mortgage amount was $42,500 for $82,500. I'm gonna copy it and I'm gonna stick it in this box. Then it asks what type of loan is this? Is it a VA loan, an FHA loan? So we're going with FHA. That really confuses me. Type of term of mortgage is 30 years based on a 30-year payment schedule. Again, I had 30 and 30 filled in because I had my templates in. What is the mortgage commitment given? These are questions for Heidi. That's when the mortgage company gives the final approval that the buyer can buy the home. 30 days after attorney review, which is good because if you're doing a 45-day close, now you're getting the mortgage approval or commitment in, and you're getting ready to close within a week or so, week and a half to 10 days. Again, if you leave it blank, it says 30 calendar days. I like to write things in there. The reason why I write things in there is because when a lawyer looks at this, if it's blank, they might glance over it. These will stick out to them and they can actually see it. That's just the way I look at things. Now, when are they bringing the balance of the purchase price? AKA, when's the closing date? Because I wrote it in command that I was doing 28th of March and it filtered onto my details page and now filtered here for me. Now you can write 45 days, but let's just say your buyers are very flexible. They're living home. They don't have to be out immediately. They're living with their parents. This box down here is a text box. It's, as it says, original closing date words. So you can write flexible per sellers. Anything you want to write in there, you can write close in 30 days or faster. So that's specifically for words. So if you don't have a specific date, you don't have to put a specific date in here. You can delete it and just write the words in there, and the attorney will see that. These two boxes here are what's included and what's not included with the sale, which on the MLS tells you items included, not included. Sometimes nothing's marked. So you write per MLS, but eventually during attorney review, some things might come out that the sellers are like, oh my God, I don't want to, I want to keep my chandelier. It was a $20,000 chandelier. They have to replace it with something, but that'll get put in the attorney writer, then the buyers can't have the chandelier. Something else is going in its spot. Who is the title company? I have just TBD stuck in here. You want to refer Carnegie Title because they work with us. You can get shares into the company, which means you get dividends and money. Passive income. This is the CEO stuff. I generally leave this blank, so it's 1.5%. Municipal assessments, I have it as no. We generally don't have municipal assessments in this area. The town doesn't put an assessment on a property. I'm going to go to, go right here, line 186. What type of home is this? Is it a single family home, a 2-family home, a 3-family home, a condo? So this is a single family home. The word family is here, so you don't have to write it. If it was a 2-family, write 2. 3, condo, townhouse, whatever it might be. Are there tenants on the property? Sometimes the person's buying a single family home that was rented. So you might have to write yes. You don't always know the tenant's name, so you can just write NA, but it should tell you the rents, the security deposit and term. All that information would be on the MLS. If it's a multifamily home, it should be on the MLS. If it's there, input it so the lawyers can see this. Is there it's not there, you can't write it. I mean, you can always go ahead and ask the other agent, hey, it is occupied. Can you just give me, you don't have to ask for the client's name. You can write unit 1, unit 2. Can you tell me what unit 1 is paying and when their lease is up and what the security deposit is? Go ahead and ask the agent if they didn't put it on the MLS. Information's gonna have to be given no matter what, when you go into attorney review. So again, is there lead paint on the property, yes or no? Particular case, we've got it now. The next few sections are all about in the inspection period. So again, if you leave these boxes blank, it says 3. I put the number in there. Point of entry. We don't have point of entry up here. We don't have cesspools up here. Here's the thing. 15, line 276, talks about cesspools. Is it a yes or a no? You choose no. Do not touch any of these boxes down here. These boxes pertain if you choose yes. And you can uncheck them if you choose that, so don't touch them. My suggestion, but we don't have cesspools in the area. So again, when I created my template, I already had those checked off for me. Otherwise, they'd appear blank. I'm just gonna scroll, so it gets more inspection stuff. This is about termites. It says 14 days when they have to expect. I put the numbers in there. I'm just a little crazy.
There's no standard number or?
It says
time
14
frame?
days is standard, so I just stick the 14 in there because it says if left blank, it's 14 days. I just stick the 14 in there. You want to shorten it to 10 days? Go right ahead. Shorten it to 10 days. But sometimes things, here's the thing too. Again, whatever you put in here, sometimes the lawyers change that. During COVID, people were putting 10 days and the lawyers were actually pushing it out to close to 20 days. Because there was so many people buying homes, the inspectors were overloaded and they knew that the inspection may not be done in time. That's the biggest thing here. Some of these pages, there's absolutely not one bit of information that goes on them. Okay, now here. This is the type of who's involved, what agents are involved. That's where this goes down to. Declaration. So this section up here, you put your office and your name on the buy side. Where and how you're operating. If it's another office like Whitegard or just another Keller office, you'd be operating as a buyer's agent, not dual disclosed because it's not this office. But since we're purchasing a home from somebody that's got listed in this office, we're acting as dual disclosed. Keller Williams Park Views is automatically input in here for the other side of the transaction. Pulled from the details page. Now, this is the fun thing. Keller Williams Park, this pulls from the details page, but I also have extra information in here because of the templates, which I will teach you all. It does make your life easier. So it shows me the other side of the transaction was Keller Williams Park Views, their office ID number. I pulled that from that box. Generally, if it's not another one, I'm gonna tab over. You're not gonna see this. Oh wait, I have to open it up again. I need to go pull Paul's ID number. So on the contract, this says REC license ID number. This means their real estate ID number when they were licensed with the state. It is not the NJ ID number. It is not your Gordon ID number. It is not the Hudson ID number. A lot of people write contracts wrong. It's this. So if you're on the listing side and you get this and it doesn't say 1859224 and has some other random number for you as your license, tell the other agent to fix it. The title agency pulls that information. They need it on their forms. They need it when they go to do taxes because then they have to send the office stuff. There's reasons for it. Again, this is now filled out with the office address, phone number. Part of it pulled from the details page when I put Paul's information in there. Part of it was pulled when I did my templates. The beautiful thing is that this whole section down here, your side, the buyer agent side is filled out because I did my templates. Again, also pulls from there, but fun thing is my license number and the office license number are there. So what all I have left to do is add the commission, which was over here per transaction, 2% minus 250, which lets everybody know how much you're supposed to get for this transaction. As you scroll down, this asks here if anybody in the transaction that is buying or selling has a real estate license. So let's just say you've got somebody selling an investment property that is a listing agent. You would say yes, and would have to note it on the MLS. So you choose yes, put the person's name and what type of agent they are. So they a broker salesperson, a salesperson. It might be just be a quick conversation. Do you have a broker's license? Yes, I operate as a broker salesperson. And you'll scroll down, any documents you're including the FHA document, or including well, sewage. This lets the lender know what additional addendums are out there that are being included into this particular document. Here is where you write whatever you need to write. Can close within 30 days. Buyer's waiving appraisal. Buyer is waiving inspections outside of structural engineer, mechanical, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't mean they're not having the inspection. They're still gonna hold their inspection so they know what's wrong with the property. They're just not gonna ask for any credits outside of anything major, plumbing issues, electrical issues, HVAC issues, structural, things like that. And that's when you write the contract. Anything you wanna write in there. Then you just hit save and close, your contract's now written for you. Sometimes DocuSign's fast, and sometimes you can go get a cup of coffee while you're waiting. Now you need to send this for signature. I generally hit select all and then uncheck what I don't need, like I am not sending the commission check that pulled in for you. This particular case, I don't need the lead paint in your home. And if you're not sent, the exclusive buyer agency agreement would have been sent long before this, so I'm gonna uncheck that. Up top, these boxes came up, and I'm gonna click on the pen. Yeah, I can't look on that screen to do this. It moves funky compared to the computer. Here, you're gonna choose that I have one buyer, I have two buyer, and the buyer agent. If you click it in that order, that's the order that it will go in for signing and making yourself last. You can uncheck that if you want, but I'm gonna hit continue right now. And what it's doing is taking all these documents and it's adding all the signatures and initials to every single document for you, so you don't have to do it. The only document you will have to add anything to is the seller's disclosure because you manually brought that in. So anything that's manually brought in, you have to add signatures and date marks to.
Yeah, that was one of my questions, because lately, I was submitting some offers and I have to do it, all the signatures manually, so. Like most of the cases, I have to do it, like just to put the initial or
You
comes.
shouldn't have to.
And I should have, that's my question, how do you do to just get everything just?
Go to the room and create this and then not, you can also uncheck the signing order so everybody gets it at the same time if you choose. What's your email, Freddie?
Freddie. Salsa.
Is it one word?
S-A.
I'm trying to see if you're in here.
Yeah.
Haha,
Cool.
Freddie is in here. All right, you're gonna sign documents for me. Not Mauda. You're gonna sign as Mauda. Not yet, I haven't sent it yet. I'm just gonna, this is also a good way in this envelope to see now, make sure everything is proper, your signatures, your date marks are there. So the wire fraud is signature dated for you. And also make sure everything ends in here properly, that should be in here. It gives you a good chance to just look back over everything. If something needs to be adjusted, like if you were getting ready to send this and your buyer decides, you know what, I want to put all of it up front, you have the ability to change it right in here. So if you were to click here, this add text box popped over to the right, and you can change this now. And then go down to the next box, hit 0. Because then now they're not bringing anything in closing except for whatever closing costs they need. So you have the ability to do that. I'm just gonna scroll through the contract because as you can see, as I go down, every initial and signature mark is there. I don't know what you were doing.
Yeah, that's.
Making your life hell is what
confusing.
you sound like you were making your life hell.
Yeah, I mean.
Believe me, in the beginning, I didn't know this pre-tagged role existed and I was manually adding to every document when I was doing TC work, which caused me to have lots of extra time doing work that I didn't know. It was because of Esteban that I found out about it. Just scroll through, make sure all your signatures and date marks are on there. See, this has 2 date marks, so you don't need both of them, so you can highlight it and just hit delete. Again, we don't need 3 date marks. I'll hit delete. This is a document I have to add a signature to because of the way they have it tagged. Because it can be used for the listing side and or buyer side, because we do both sides. So I'm gonna go. This purple one. Okay, so I'm yellow. Okay, so I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit, click on signature. Just add my signature here saying that there was no lead paint. So I'm the listing agent, the buying agent. FHA loan, again, signature. All of it's there. Here is where there's the toggle. I wonder if you can click on this. I can click on it on this end too, saying that, yeah, they're gonna inspect. You can do it ahead of time for them so they don't have to worry, they can do it. Seller's disclosure, I'm just gonna go right to the bottom here. This is a very long document.
So it should be automatically there, right?
Not this document.
No, I mean, in general, like the signature.
Yes, so now I need to add signatures for, oh no, it actually totally changed your name, the buyers. Because this was manually brought in and then my signature goes here. Now that all of that is done, you hit send and it goes directly to your buyers and to you. Once this goes, what email am I going to? I have the right one. Okay. Hello. Today, please. Here it is. Okay, so as the buyer's agent, I can come right in here and sign, which is nice. And I'm gonna go to my phone and sign also as the buyer. I'll click on continue, hit start. Now, here's one thing I'll tell you. Your client, when they open this on their phone, it may look like their signature is in the wrong spot. It's not. It's just the way it opens on the phone. It might look like it's on the wrong line. Just let them know that. I've had it happen numerous times where people are like, it's in the wrong spot. I'm like, no, it's just that's their phone. You know, there's a lot in here. The pre-tag roles allows you to not miss any signatures and date marks and have to get stuff re-signed. Okay, finish. So I can see if I go in here to the envelope that I've completely signed. If I click on more, I can go to view the envelope history. Did you get it? You signed? Waiting for this one to sign over here. But you can see that I viewed it, I signed it, I haven't, and you will receive an email too when your client opens the document saying they viewed it, just when they signed it. Just means they viewed it. Once everything is also completely signed, you will get an email stating the package is completed from DocuSign, and the individual documents, I think, are on the bottom of the email, so you can download what you need. Do not forward that email to the listing agent with all the documents in it. They don't want it, it's annoying, give them only what they want. Sometimes there's directions on the MLS too saying, I want it in one PDF file. The pre-approval, the lead paint, the seller's disclosure, the contract, they just want it in one file, email to them. So this way too, when they go to send it to their seller for signature, they're just uploading whatever system that they're currently using, they can upload one document and go through the whole document, make sure everything is signed and that they didn't miss downloading something. He has viewed it now. He is signing. And as you say, you can see there's check marks here to let you know that they have signed it. He's viewed it.
Quick question, Janine.
Yes.
The button correct, does that, so if the seller or the buyer said, the client says, I would like to change this thing, I can just go correct and it will just, once I submit it and send it, it'll go again with the same order to the.
Correct. Also, if you did something like I was teaching the other day in Fort Lee, when I was using myself and all my email addresses, my other email address, I put it at Gmail. It wasn't Gmail, it was Yahoo. I was like, why am I not getting my email? I can go here and hit correct if it's not signed yet, by the way, by anyone, and I can change it. See, now it's yelling at me. The envelope cannot be corrected.
So I've had that problem before. So now I have to do a whole new envelope, right?
Correct. If something has been signed, you can't. So let's just say one of your clients, one of them says the email address is wrong and the other one signed it. You still can correct the email address. You just can't correct the document.
Got it.
So what I was able to do the other day was, but this is telling me now everything is signed, so I'm not correcting anything.
Got it. Cool, thanks.
You're welcome. So this is done, but like I said, if one of them signs it and the other one says, hey, I didn't get the email, confirm the email. They might have like transposed the number themselves in it. That's why I always say copy, paste everything that somebody gives you. So this way I said, oh, you didn't give it to me. Well, this is the email you gave me and I just copied and pasted it in. Kind of gives you the out and makes them realize, hey, I was wrong. It tells you you're completed. Let's see if it works good. So when everything is signed, you will find the original document here. And then whatever's next to it that's signed is in green. So you have a green check mark, which is nice. So you can see all your signed documents. You can create a folder at this point if you want. You can do add folder and call this executed documents. And you can pull consumer information statements, only certain ones I'm adding. Wire fraud and dual agency, come up top here, it says copy. Gonna go to move, folder in current room, executed docs. Moving them out of my way. Now, if I have to go resend documents, those documents I don't have to resend, they only need to be signed once and done. If something isn't being accepted, you can click on these little boxes like this, and up top, there's an archive button, and it goes into a special folder where it's archived, where you can toggle from here to archive documents, just so you can clear it out of your way because you don't need it. So any signed documents or, property that you are getting an offer accepted on, get them out of your way, so you're not confused and seeing thousands of things. If you need to combine them again, this is the This is the combine button, and what's nice in the combine button is you create a name and allows you to adjust the documents in any particular order you want it in. So now that these are signed, you would either just right click individually and download, or find your one that you combined and download it to your computer so you can send it off to the listing agent for the offer. After this is done though, however, you want to come back to command. I'm just gonna wait and click on documents. All right, you need your documents in here for compliance for the state, the office, so you don't go to real estate jail. So once you're on consultation, you're gonna say, I'm taking these documents from DocuSign. I did create a folder, so I'm choosing executed docs. Now I'm gonna come over here, and every item that I stuck in the executed documents folder will populate into here. As you can see, there's the consumer information statement, dual agency, and wire. Since I'm on the consumer information statement, it says it's signed, I click on it. Wire fraud, oh look, it eliminated it, so I have one less document to look for. I click on wire fraud, and then I click on dual agency, and then I hit submit to MC. Just like that. And now I, on the compliance end, will make sure your documents are filled out and signed properly. If they're not, they will be returned to me. It's just to make sure you understand and learn the process. Once you get something accepted, take your accepted documents, the executed contract or FHA document, whatever additional addendums, put that in DocuSign. You can put them in the executed folder if you want, or if you didn't create the executed folder, really not a big deal, they're in your room. Put them in there, but then come over again, and you go to DocuSign and you'll choose the room and you'll start searching for them. The only thing that will ever show up in this search is documents that have been signed and will say signed, or PDFs that you manually uploaded. So if I were to go and choose room docs, the original seller's disclosure that I uploaded does show here because it was manual. Otherwise, it's only showing me my executed documents. And then you just start attaching them. This is a filing cabinet. Essentially what it is, keeps all your documents. So like I said, once an offer is accepted, start submitting these right in here. You don't have to submit to the MC, start putting them in here, putting them in here, putting them in here. The attorney writer, once it's signed, can go in here. The pre-approval can go in here. Home inspection reports, seller's concession, executed documents, the commission statement. Now I need to like that one again. You need to add something manually if you wanted to create another category. You come to three dots. You hit add document. You type the name of the document because of the inspection. We only want one thing for inspection, but generally there's two pieces. There's the actual report that comes from the inspector. Then there's a letter that comes from the lawyer saying, this is what we want fixed. Sometimes it's just written in an email. But you would write like inspection, what type of this, it's an addendum, agreement, authorization, inspection. And then you would just find the document in DocuSign and add it, and it would create a new little slot for you for in here. Again, this piece consultation, generally what I suggest is after it's signed, send it to the listing agent, come right back to command, add these documents in and get that out of your way. Under contract, you're adding these documents as the deal is going on. Once you know you're closing, they're asking for that commission statement, generally week to 2 weeks, hopefully not later than that. But once you know your inspections are complete and you have your mortgage commitment, come over here, make sure all your documents in, hit submit. So we get it ahead of time. And then Also, make sure your commission's in here to submit this, because if your commission's in here and submitted, these documents are in and approved. The day that check comes to the office, whether you manually bring it in here and stick it in the red box on the outside of this door, or it gets mailed to Jess or wired into Jess, she comes in here, searches the property address that you had put in on the details page. She sees that your consultation's approved. She sees that your under contract is approved. She sees your commission's in. Guess what? You're getting your check within 24 to 48 hours of leaving this office. You're paid immediately. Because she doesn't have to worry because you're compliant now and everything's in there as needed. And that's the best part. They don't, I mean, technically we have 10 days from when the check hits the office to pay you. There are days where it might take a little longer because Jess is closing out the books for the month. She's got other things going on. So you might be a day or two off. So instead of taking 48 hours, it takes 72 hours. But generally you're getting paid very quickly as long as everything is in here. She will not pay you if your compliance is not proper, if it says return, is missing documents. But this is why we try to say, as soon as the consultation piece documents are signed, get them in here, get it out of the way. And a week or so before closing, get your other contract in so we can make sure that everything is. And look over the contract when you get it back from the listing agent. Look over every page to make sure the seller has signed and initialed. I can't tell you how many times we get a contract and there's a page that's not initialed, or one of the two pages that has to be signed is not signed. It has to be done. See what's gonna happen. The lender might be like, oh, this is missing. Fix this. Where's this address? Fix this. So always just make sure everything is filled out properly. When you get it back, do your double check, do your double duties, and be like, oh, hey, notice that the seller never initialed the very last page. They only signed it. I need to get this to the lender. Can't hold up closing. That will motivate the other agent to get it signed properly. Do you have any questions? Anybody in Zoom land have questions?
Quick question, Janine. Do you see where it says add comment?
Yes, you can talk to us.
Perfect. Yeah, I was wondering. So if I type a message and tag you there, you will get a notification. Let's say I
Right.
have
You
like
can
a.
tag, am I in here?
Yeah, I think you are.
No, oh, well, I'm in my own, so it's not showing me.
Yeah.
So it says, but I will see, hold on a second, I'm gonna see if I can find one. This is the compliance area. I help with Fortley, so don't mind me resubmitted. These are the only ones I want to see right now. Oh, what did I do? Oh, no, not that one. Oh, yeah, okay. So when you leave a comment, this little box to the left will pop
Yeah.
up. So I would see that if you left me a note, you could, this one was left under the, under contract section. It could have been left under the consultation. It could have been left under the closed. Here's what I want to say about the closed. If you get the ALTA signed, but don't have a copy of the check, go ahead and submit your ALTA, your CD here, whatever, but don't hit submit because I'm just going to return it back to you or change the state of it because the check's not in there.
Okay.
Add it in, go ahead, and then when Jess gets the check, or if it's a wire, she'll make a note of it, and then I'll go and approve, and then she'll hit submit and approve it, and then I can approve it from there. But just make sure that the CD that you are uploading or the ALTA that you are uploading is signed. Don't send me the blank one, because that actually might be wrong. Because you might get it the day before closing, and then the day of closing, something changes with some number, and that's not proper. So just make sure it is the signed one. Any other questions? I am teaching the template class on how to create your templates, which you do in the My Doc section. And it goes to form templates in here. And this is where we create templates. So I'll be teaching this next month. I think I'm going to do it on the 9th, so exactly a month from now, which will make your life a lot easier for contracts, for rentals, for a lot of things. So whatever you can do to be more efficient, move faster, best way to think. That's it. This is being recorded. It will go hopefully on the next week or so to we have a YouTube channel for the office. I also have a website for the TC stuff, and there is a resources tab, and there's trainings and classes. So all my trainings and classes go here. ABCs of real estate. This might be you can watch the class. If you want, this working with buyers in command is what we did today. It's from last year. DocuSign changed a little bit. So this is why we also wanted to make sure we redid it and re-recorded it. How to submit your commissions in command, that's Amanda. Master command and DocuSign workflow, how they all work together, that's Amanda. This is a 3-minute video on how to archive opportunities. So this is resources. There's stuff on sample documents, which relates to the ABCs of real estate. Oh no, sample documents show how documents have to be filled out. I lied to you. Document definitions relates to the ABCs of real estate. It's the definitions of all different types of documents, but that's what that class was, and be going over every document. So this is also just NJ information, Gordon Hudson, lead paint law stuff, other affiliated links for the attorneys for the offices and things like that. I really keep telling you, I keep forgetting to tell my assistant to take that. My assistant created the website for me. I would have broken this and it messed things up, so I just asked him to fix this. Not my forte.
That's their website, right?
YourKWLeverage.net is the website. Do this in here.